Welcome to the Sobriety Spin, my take on life and recovery, delivered with the kind of honesty that's usually reserved for therapy sessions. This is episode 1, my story, part 1. It's a long story. So I grew up in the Midwest as the middle of 3 girls and had all of the classic middle child syndrome stuff. I needed attention and validation and a lot more than I was getting. I decided pretty early on in my childhood that if I wasn't perfect, then I wasn't good enough and I wasn't lovable. So if I couldn't be perfect, I had to just pretend to be perfect, make the world think I was perfect, which involves a lot of lying and hiding. And when I went through my first big trauma when I was 15, I didn't tell anyone. I blamed myself, so I hid it. And I just pushed the feelings way down. And that's also when I found a really amazing coping system, drinking. I used alcohol to numb the feelings enough that I could handle them. And then I started using caffeine pills to get me through my day-to-day life. This was an amazing coping system. Let me tell you, it worked like a charm and I used it forever. Fast forward to my 20s, I moved to New Orleans, I became a chef, and I leaned hard into like the fun, wild party girl persona that I thought made me so cool. And New Orleans loves a good party, so that made it really easy and really natural for me to just like lean right into that, right? On the outside, it looked like I had everything all together. I had a husband, a career, friends. I had fun all the time. Everything was amazing. But on the inside, things were kind of starting to fall apart. I was not doing so well. Eventually, everyone around me started to notice, especially how much I was drinking. So that's when I quit drinking for a while, which really just meant that I started drinking in secret, and that made things so much worse. By the end of 2019, everything was falling apart, and I'd lost myself completely. So I went to rehab. I thought 60 days, inpatient, I could fix everything about myself and my life and come back and get it all back and walk right into my perfect life again and be perfect. But it turns out that's not how it works. My life was still broken when I got back to it, and it only took me 3 days to start drinking again and hiding it again. When I finally got caught and my whole world was like really falling apart this time, like burst into flames and burning down to the ground, I went back to rehab, and my story really starts there because that's when I let go. That's when I started actually facing reality and accepting life on life's terms. And doing the hard work of getting better. And it turns out that pretending everything is perfect all the time is like so much harder than doing the work to actually get better and make things better in your life. So that's the end of my story, part 1. Make sure you tune in next week for part 2, when this phoenix rises from the ashes. And until then, stay curious and don't forget the snacks.